Horror comes to those of weak of mind. Devils and ghosts are like obedient dogs. They come when they are called. This is Scary Filipino Encounters. Are you ready? This ghost story is based on my experience that would stick by me and a memory I could never ever forget. This happened when I was 15 years old when my family and I had a vacation at Pampanga, Philippines. I always was the shy one that even my family never knew sometimes I can see ghosts. I also didn't want them to know because they might think I'm just being too paranoid. When we arrived at Pampanga, my cousin Andres was the one who welcomed me at the port. He is my eldest cousin. He was 23 years old and a graduate of civil engineering at a famous university in Manila, Philippines. His sister Jenny is a nurse, and my other cousin were Bri and Franco, both a criminology graduates. When everyone settled down with all the greetings, hugs, and kisses that were exchanged, we head out to Bri and Franco's house. The ride was tough. We had to stop by a lot to buy some groceries, bumpy road, and horrible traffic. But after 2 hours, we arrived at Bri's house. Bri told me to come inside, and he excitedly said, "We should go to my room. I'll show you something really cool." We followed him, and he quickly pulled out the box. It was kinda dirty and has dust all over it, but he wiped and cleaned it, impatiently opening it. And surprisingly enough, he pulled out an Ouija board. In Philippines, instead of using a planchette, we use a glass and call the game Spirit of the Glass instead of Ouija. Thrilled, we all agreed to play the Spirit of the Glass, a decision I regret till this day. Jenny prayed. I closed the windows and doors. Bri brought 6 candles, and we started playing. Andrea said, "Is there anyone here with us?" No response. "If so, what is your name?" No reply. And after 6 tries, still no luck. I started feeling a cold breeze behind my neck, and my feet was suddenly shaking. I feel like someone or something was there. I built up my courage and finally said, "Is anyone here?" I saw the curtains move, and suddenly in a rush the glass moved to the word yes. We were shocked. Bri tried to ask a question, but I quickly interfered, saying I should ask because that someone is answering my call. He agreed. I asked if she's a girl. It went and slid to the word yes. I asked, "How old are you?" At this point, Jenny took off her hands. I looked at her and saw the fear in her eyes. We looked at each other, and I lifted my fingers as the glass was moving. Brian Franco followed it, and it suddenly moved on its own. It landed on number 1 and went to 7. I sensed the horror of Andres as he jokingly said, "Wow, so it's a 17-year-old girl." He laughed nervously. I'm pretty sure he's saying it to lighten up our tense mood. I was interested, so I asked her, "Why were you answering the call?" It's spelled Helpme. Help me. I asked again, "Where do you live?" It's spelled Valenzuela. Then I asked her, "What is your name?" Juanadeleon. Juana de Leon. Andres finally had enough because the picture frame suddenly fell down and he screamed, telling us to stop the game and sleep on Franco's room together. Jenny quickly agreed and we followed. We were all silent on Franco's room. And even though it was hot because it was a small room and was overcrowded, somehow I felt really safe. An hour passed by and everyone was sleeping, but not for me. Every 10 minutes or so, I can feel some cold, chilly breeze on my spine. I was so afraid to move. After felt like forever and me slowly dozing to sleep, a voice suddenly whispered to my ear.
"Take that cemetery, go down the street. Apartment 5 for
It repeated for around 4 times, and I was so shocked that I decided to look at where the voice was coming from, and saw a woman dressed in a traditional Filipino gown. I couldn't move. She had a dark, long hair, pale skin, and a completely white eyes. Her face was all wrinkly but doesn't look old. She repeated the address 3 times and suddenly disappeared. The next morning I told them everything that happened to me last night and told them we should help her. After minutes of persuading, they agreed that we should visit the address. We agreed to visit the cemetery the next day, and after driving for what felt like forever, we come across the caretaker of the cemetery. We asked them about a girl named Juana de Leon. He escorted us, and then we saw it, written on the grave, "Rest in peace, Juana de Leon. Born January 10, 1990. Died November 15, 2007. You may be gone, but will forever be in our hearts." Franco asked the caretaker where the parents are living, and he said he couldn't do it because that would violate the protocol. Brad took out his badge and insisted that he tell the address, but shockingly, the caretaker agreed. We then went to Juana's house and talked to her parents, explaining everything that happened to us. They told us that Juana was a victim of gang rape and was killed in the Philippines, and because they couldn't afford to even complete the funeral, let alone buy a casket, they accepted 500,000 pesos, or 26,000 US dollars, in turn that Juana's parents wouldn't file a case against the gang. Eerily, after her parents shared the story, I heard a whisper saying, "Walang puso," or merciless. I'm living in a relatively small city in Bohol, Philippines. Most of the people here are Christians and are diligent in following religious activities. When people go to church, streets feel like a ghost town, and there is little to none nightlife. This happened on a Black Saturday. People went to churches at 11 p.m., including me, my family, and my close friend Kelly and his family. We both aren't that religious and was bored attending the mass. I texted him if he's up for a ride. He replied to meet me outside. I came up with a lame excuse to my dad by having a diarrhea, and he bought it. For those who don't know, it is the day after Jesus died before he resurrects from the dead. So as the religious people says, ghosts, spirits, and bad luck are released from the dark every Black Saturday. We were driving around town with my own motorcycle. Darkness surrounds the night. Every road we drive by was empty on a dark, chilly, sinister night, with just me and my friend Kelly. We decided to stop by at our road to chill out and smoke cigarettes, catch some fresh air, and enjoy the amazing view. It is on the southeast part of the city. It has a rolling terrain rising gently up to a hill, the city's highest point, after overlooking the beautiful sea. When suddenly, two kids emerged from the dark, two brothers. The older one was probably 11, and his younger brother could be 8 years old, was walking down the street. Seeing them felt mysterious, when you took into the consideration that they were minors without any adults nearby, and was walking on a gloomy, dark highway. The older brother wore a loose black gangster-like shirt, skinny jeans, and super shoes, while the younger brother wore a white tank top, school trousers, and a black shoes. We didn't mind them crossing us, but to be honest, we felt a little bit tense. After they were at a distance, I told Kelly they were wearing funny clothes. Their clothes are just different. And I remember around 7 years ago, wearing Supra felt like you're some cool trendy kid. But now, no one in their right mind would wear Supra. I mean, those were really outdated. And I was even surprised someone is wearing such an ancient look. I'm not even exaggerating. Well, I dismissed the thought and brushed it off, telling Kelly I'm low on gas, and we ride to the nearest gasoline station, which is a 15-minute drive on a different direction with the kids. We arrived, and I finished filling my tank while Kelly was done doing his business on a toilet and was waiting for me at the edge of the station. I went after him, and suddenly his face turned pale. Sweat went down his face even if the night was really cold. He stuttered. The kid with the Supra, is that them? I was shocked. I couldn't believe what I saw. They were facing away from us, so my curiosity peeked out. I really wanted to know if it's them. Without hesitation, I turned on my bike. Kelly hopped in and we started driving towards them slowly. I saw their faces, but it wasn't them. We drove past them. He felt better, but still was tense. So I jokingly screamed while driving. Ha! Don't be such a pussy, man. That was just a coincidence. I screamed after. Hey, weird kid! I'm not afraid of you. I knew you're some sort of ghost who only get to roam at Black Saturday. He laughed. But deep down in my head, I was still worried. But man, did they dress like those kids from before. I wasn't sure if I should be relieved or scared, but I bought it. Better than being haunted, I guess. We decided to go back to the church because it was around 12:30 p.m. and the mass might be finishing off. We were near the place that we smoked earlier and I'm driving on a blind curve. When suddenly, the two kids that we first encountered was walking on the other side of the road. I was shocked but didn't mind it that much and was wondering why they went back to the spot we saw them. I was distracted by my thoughts when Kelly screamed really loud, and there, a bit ahead of us, the kids at the gas station were there. The older one was staring at me with a slight grin. I freaked out. I sped right away. As I was around 50 meters towards them, I glanced at the kids. They were looking at me. When suddenly, I froze. I grasped for air. I couldn't breathe. My hands were shaking. My heart was beating faster than I ever felt. The 11-year-old kid, his head twisted 360 degrees. I just sat there in my motorcycle in awe. Suddenly, I got the strength to scream and drive as fast as I could. It was one of the scariest things I have encountered in my life, and probably would stick by me and give me goosebumps whenever I think about it. Until now, I never ever will taunt ghosts.